So today I'm going to be talking about psychosis and how I experience it and what psychotic episodes are like for me. Psychosis, if you Google it, the easiest definition you will find is it's a severe mental disorder characterized by disconnection from reality. It's often a symptom of other disorders, like you can be bipolar and have psychotic features, or schizophrenia, obviously. That's the most commonly known psychotic disorder, I believe. And I have schizoaffective depressive type disorder, or schizoaffective disorder, and I'm the depressive type. There are two types of schizoaffective disorder. Schizoaffective is basically a combination of schizophrenia symptoms and mood disorder symptoms. And there are two types. There's schizoaffective bipolar type, which is what they originally diagnosed me with, and they finally got around to understanding that I was schizoaffective. But then it's been recently changed because it just was wrong. It was the wrong diagnosis. As one of the things I learned in researching a lot of these videos is that it's very common for a schizoaffective person to be misdiagnosed as bipolar. Like, that is super common. A lot of people in the field lack the knowledge on schizoaffective, so they'll diagnose you as bipolar or as schizophrenic. I personally think there's a gender bias there. I think that they will call a woman bipolar real quick just because, but that's my opinion. It's not really based on anything. Like, somebody prove me wrong in the comment section or something. I don't know. But, like, that's just something I've noticed about how they treat female patients. It's always hysteria or something like that, or it's anxiety. It's hysteria. It's this. And it's like, if you'd stop just thinking that diagnosing me with woman, you might understand that I have a serious issue. Anyway, so I get a lot of people have asked me, what are psychotic episodes like for me? Um, Pretty bad. So I'll start off by saying that psychosis always feels like I'm in a different dimension or a different universe, like I've walked through some sort of gate, like a stargate, if you will, and now I'm in a different world. And every time this happens, there's different rules. It just seems like the way that I interpret the information is so different. And sometimes I don't remember my psychotic episodes. Sometimes I do. I remember blips of them. It depends on how severe they are. Sometimes I think that my mind likes to block them out because it doesn't want me to remember. It really depends. But sometimes I can remember all the weird thoughts that I had, right? So it depends. And I haven't really figured out what the conditions are for why I can remember some and why I can't remember others. It feels like, though, you've shifted into another universe or world with God, with a different God that sort of copied our God's work, but like not that well, or like pretty well, right? But it's like well enough. Like, everything looks the same. The buildings are the same. The sky is blue. The grass is green. The seasons are the same. But like, there are different rules. I swear. Like, one of these things that I commonly hallucinate when I'm in like full blown psychosis is flowers growing behind the front door of my house and of other people's houses as well. And it almost feels like in this other dimension, that's a normal thing. Like, people grow these big flowers behind their front doors. Why? I don't know what it means. I have no idea what it means, but like, that's one of the things. But like I said, it's like, so it's like God. It's like a God that copied our God. When I say not well, but well, what I mean is that there's things that are off, right? Like, the rules are different. Like, people talk differently. And like, what I'm trying to explain is that I'm interpreting it differently because I'm in psychosis. So it feels like I'm in the wrong world because everything is different. Like, people communicate different. It feels like the people around me aren't really who they say they are. Like, it feels like my boyfriend's been replaced by a different Josh. My friends who say they're my friends aren't really my friends. I still have questions about certain people in my life to this day, even though I'm sane enough and on meds to know that that's crazy. But I still think about it because I'm like, you seem really different, you know? Like, I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, I have these ideas of people following me and watching me because they want to lock me up in like a jail or a mental institution. Because here's the thing, I think that I'm the only one who can see the truth when I'm in this other world. I think that I've been transported to another world, that it's like a world where they send crazy people or they send people that they don't want in the real world, right? And so they've sent me here to suffer in an eternal hell. That's sort of what I think of what's happened when I'm in psychosis. I feel that I've been teleported into a different world to suffer because I did something wrong by either being crazy or being too angry or whatever the deal is, right? And this world is populated with a bunch of people who aren't really who they say they are. It's a fake boyfriend, fake friends, fake Facebook, fake everything, right? It's like an alternative universe where everything is just a little bit off. And then on top of that, it really does feel like a war with yourself. It feels like you are constantly at war with your own mind. And like, it's almost like your mind keeps parts of it away from you. It feels like you are constantly battling with yourself to regain some normality, some normalcy. So one of the things about the plants growing behind the front door that I forgot to mention, by the way, is that they're supposed to keep bad spirits away. That's and like other than that, I don't know why, but I forgot to mention that earlier. So another thing I commonly think is that everybody around me is trying to get me to kill myself. Everything they say and do is really meant to be like passive aggressive and meant to make me hate myself and want to die. Everything they say and do is supposed to be blaming me for all the problems, telling me I'm miserable, and then the voices will start doubling down and telling me that, yeah, these people are talking about you, these people don't like you, these people have been replaced, they're not real. None of these people are real. Everything in the way that they act just seems completely off. And then I'll start thinking like they must be trying to get me to kill myself because I know the truth. I know who they are. I've been sent here to suffer and I figured it all out. I'm the smartest one here, obviously, so I figured it all out, you know? Yeah. And it feels real. Like altered states of reality feel real when they're happening to you. So no matter how much you tell me, like, no, Josh didn't get replaced. No, there's no flowers growing behind the door. I'm like, no, there's flowers growing behind the door and Josh is not who he says he is. Now, Josh handles this stuff pretty well. Fortunately for him, me thinking that hasn't happened in a while, but like, each something that comes up that I will ask him sometimes. I'll be like, you are who you say you are, right? And he's just like, yeah, I am. And it's like, okay. And you don't really question how crazy you are until after everything's done. And I just assume that God hates me, right? Like seriously, during the delusion, I'm like, oh, God must hate me too because he did this to me. And sometimes I just think he hates me anyway, even without a delusion. I really just think that motherfucker's up there like, I'm gonna fuck with Melissa personally, you know? Like, I believe that God was the one who decided to let Blooper Team, yes, Blooper Team, because they were a fucking mistake, remake Silent Hill 2. That's what I think. Because he wanted to personally fuck with my day, right? But, moving on. So, when this happens, like, there's like a gray area, by the way. There's like a transition time where you don't just go straight from like normal to fucking everybody's fake and I'm in an altered world, right? Like, no. There's like slowly signs of it happening. It's sort of like moving. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm slowly moving through a gate, slowly being transitioned into the new world until we're completely there. Unfortunately, this war that I feel that I'm having with myself is ongoing. Even with meds, I constantly feel like my brain is just waiting to break out and do something crazy. It's waiting to take over and just make me act as crazy as possible and do the craziest shit, and then I'll never come back for it. This is always like a big, big, big fear of mine. And it's rough, basically. But I live with it. Every day. I mean, it really is hard. You know, one of the things that I used to say a lot was that I didn't understand loneliness. I don't know what loneliness is. I have voices. Right. That was pretty much bullshit. I just didn't really understand that emptiness was loneliness, I guess. I could fill it with video games or get online. Social media played a role because getting online fills your social need, you know, like you're a sim. So you get online, you talk to a couple people for a second, and all of a sudden your social need's full, and like, oh, okay, I don't need any more interaction. But nothing can ever change interacting with a real person who understands you. And nothing is lonelier than not being understood by anybody around you. And even other schizoaffective people and other schizophrenic people can't really understand you. You don't understand them. Everybody's experience is so different. There are common delusions like being followed, being stalked by the government, Somebody asked me recently, why is that such a common delusion? And I was like, because we are being stalked and followed. That's what I used to think anyway, but I believe it's a common delusion. It has something to do with the brain, I believe, and I'm not sure what. But I think it's like whatever part of the brain is being affected, like it might cause you to think people are stalking and following you, right? Like if I go outside and go like walk to the store or something, I will literally think that people are following me. And I cannot explain to you a logical reason why. I'm nobody special. I'm just a poor person, right? Like I'm just a poor person living in a regular ass complex with nothing special. My name's not known for anything. I'm just a regular person, and yet I will think that people are trying to follow me, trying to lock me up, trying to get me to kill myself, I don't know why I think those things, but I think them, and they it's weird. It's strange when you look at it when you're outside of psychosis. You go, why did I think that? Why do I think that? Like it doesn't make any sense why I think that. But you know, who am I? And this is what I meant when I said it feels like a battle against yourself. It was just me all along. There was never two of us. Yeah. So it's just me that's crazy. It's just my brain betraying me. And I think that's worse than anything else, honestly, is knowing that your brain just doesn't operate the way it's supposed to and is going to take you hostage at any time and perhaps try to ruin your life, ruin your relationships, ruin your friendships, ruin everything, ruin anything that makes you happy. So, yeah, that's what having schizoaffective disorder is like, and that's what psychosis is like. I hope this was sort of informative, if it didn't just devolve into me fucking being depressing for a few minutes. But one of my friends told me in my last video, the institutionalization video about this bullshit going on in California, they said that at the end, when I said you have to keep fighting, that it really inspired them. And again, I just want to say, if you're mentally ill, if you're having a bad day, you got to keep fighting. There's no reason to give up. So, take care, and until next time.